Hello everyone, this is part 2 of What If Naruto Was in High School, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. She laid down and immediately fell asleep. The next morning she woke up to her alarm clock, which was on her favorite radio station. She laid in bed for a few minutes, listening to the music, then got up and turned her alarm off. She got dressed, and then went to put her makeup on. She then went downstairs to get breakfast. "Good morning, sweetie," said Mrs. Haruno in a happy voice. "Today's such a beautiful day, and it just puts me in such a great mood." "I couldn't tell," said Sakura. "So mom, today I was going to have my partner for a science project over so we could get started. Is that okay?" "Sure sweetie," Mrs. Haruno replied. "What time were you planning on?" "Right after school," replied Sakura as she put some oatmeal in the microwave. She put the timer for 40 seconds, then waited for it to be done. When the timer went off, she poured some milk into it, and then sprinkled brown sugar on the top. She turned around and walked up to the table, setting the bowl down, then pulling out a chair and sitting down. "So we'd like the house to be quiet so we can concentrate, okay?" "That's fine, your brother will be over at a friend's house anyways. They're playing some new video game he just bought," said Mrs. Haruno. "Good, and if he comes home early, he goes straight to his room, because we'll be using the family room or the sun porch, depending on how far we get," said Sakura. "Okay, dear, don't worry, your brother won't bother you and your friend," said Mrs. Haruno. "I wouldn't exactly call him my friend," thought Sakura, while she said, "That would be great, Mom." Just then, Sakura heard Ino's driver honking the horn. "I've got to go, Ino's here. I'll see you this afternoon. Bye." She grabbed her backpack as she walked out the front door, climbing into the limo. "It's about time," said Ino, "although I was going to be waiting for at least another hour." "Oh, shut up, Ino pig," Sakura said in a ticked-off tone. "Someone woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning, geez," said Ino as they drove to Tenten's house to pick up Tenten and Hinata, who had walked to Tenten's house since it wasn't too far away. The girls rode the rest of the way in silence, since Sakura was in a bad mood, and Ino could see it. When Tenten and Hinata got in the car, Tenten commented on it. "It feels like you could see the air with a knife, what's up with you two?" she asked. "Someone woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning," Ino replied. "So what if I did?" Sakura retorted angrily. You know what?" asked Tenten, as both girls turned to her with angry eyes. "Maybe I shouldn't have said anything." Sakura and Ino went back to glaring at each other. When they pulled up to school, both girls exited the limo quickly, and each went to their lockers until 5 minutes before class started. Hinata went with Sakura, and Tenten went with Ino, to try and get him to forgive the other, for what, they didn't know. "You know Sakura, you could forgive Ino," Hinata suggested timidly. "What are you guys fighting about this time, anyways?" "I don't remember," replied Sakura as she opened her locker, "but whatever it was, it really made me mad." "Well, don't you think it's stupid to fight over something you can't even remember?" asked Hinata. "I guess," said Sakura as she shut her locker and turned towards her friend, "but I'm not telling Ino that. She has to say it first." With Ino and Tenten. "Ino, why are you so mad at Sakura?" asked Tenten. "I don't remember," Ino replied coolly. "Doesn't that seem a bit childish to you?" asked Tenten. "Not really," said Ino simply as she opened her locker to put some pictures in it. "Why should you guys fight if you don't even remember what you're fighting about?" Tenten tried again. Ino was obviously thinking this over. "Well, I guess you're right, but I'm not saying anything about it unless she says something to me first." Ino shut her locker and turned towards Tenten. "Come on, let's go to class." When they arrived at the classroom, Sakura and Hinata were just sitting down. They sat down in their seats, and Tenten leaned towards Hinata. "How'd it go with Sakura?" she whispered. "Not too good, she said she won't speak to Ino unless Ino speaks to her first." Hinata whispered back. "That's pretty much what Ino said," Tenten whispered, "but don't worry, they'll forget that they were fighting by lunchtime, and things will be back to normal. You're probably right, Hinata whispered. Just then Kakashi walked in, and homeroom started. Lunch. Hey guys, I'm going to get something from one of the vending machines, save me a seat, alright. Sakura said as she walked over to the corner with the snack machines in them. The girls all sat down at a table, the same one as the day before. A couple of minutes after they sat down, Sakura came over with a bag of chocolate chip cookies. She opened the bag, and turned it towards her friends. Anyone want some? She asked. Sure, said Ino as she reached into the bag and took some of the cookies. Tenten and Hinata looked at each other in disbelief. Sakura and Ino had forgotten they had been fighting earlier. Just then they heard some people behind them. Hey guys, a familiar voice said, can we sit with you? The girls turned around to see Naruto, Shikamaru, Neji and Sasuke standing there. Sure, said Tenten as she slid down the bench to make more room. So, what's up, you guys? Asked Naruto. Nothing really, said Sakura, want a cookie? Yay! Exclaimed Naruto as he reached into the bag and took about 5 of them. So, what are you guys planning on doing for your science projects? Hinata asked everyone. Well, Sasuke and I are making improvements to cars by testing them on a toy car, said Sakura. We're seeing what activities lower B pressure, and which activities make it rise, said Tenten. We're using hydrochloric acid to test the carbon level in rocks, said Ino. Those are all great experiments, Hinata said. Naruto and I are going to test lake water at different times of the day, and during different weather conditions and look at the differences. Just then, the lunch bell rang, signaling for them to get to class. Just then, the lunch bell rang, signaling for them to get to class. The kids stood up, and all went to their classes. After school. Hey guys, Sakura said as they exited the classroom, I can't ride home with everyone today, my driver's coming to get Sasuke and I so we can work on our project. Okay, bye, said Tenten, Hinata, and Ino at exactly the same time. They all burst out into a fit of giggles. It was a great day outside, and there was practically no homework for that night. They climbed into Hinata's limo, as Sakura climbed into her own limo. Took you long enough, said Sasuke as Sakura jumped, not expecting him to be there yet. Sorry, I had to go to my locker. Sakura said. So, did you get any ideas for the project? Yay, I was thinking that we could make improvements to seat belts so that the pressure is distributed more evenly over the body, said Sasuke. Okay, said Sakura. I was thinking we could make improvements to the crumple zone of the car, and maybe create a more shock-absorbent bumper. We can use my old Barbie car for testing our ideas, and we should have the supplies we need at my house. Sounds good, said Sasuke. We're going to be working in the family room and sunroom. I was thinking we can test the ideas in the sunroom, and alter the car in the family room, that way nothing's in our way, said Sakura. Good, said Sasuke. Just then the limo pulled up in front of Sakura's house. They grabbed their book bags and walked into the house. Mom, Sakura yelled. We're home. We're going into the family room to start the project. Okay, honey. When your brother comes home I'll send him up to his room so he won't bug you too. Said from another room. Sakura led Sasuke into the family room, and they found a bunch of materials laid out on the coffee table. Sakura's pink Barbie car was there, too. Ms. Mimi must have laid everything out for us while we were at school. Sakura said. HN. Sasuke replied. Let's get started. They started fiddling with the car. Sakura was taking a foamy material and putting it on the bumper, and Sasuke picked up some ribbon and tried to make a seatbelt. Sakura looked over at Sasuke and saw him struggling with the seatbelt, and offered her help. Here, she said, let me do that. I can sew it together rather quickly, and then we glue it into the car. Sakura seized some thread and threaded it through a needle, and quickly sewed 2 pieces of ribbon together so that they formed an X. She then took some glue and glued each of the corners to a part of the seat. Since there weren't any buttons tiny enough to hold the 2 together, the clay they were using to test the pressure would just have to slip into the seat behind the new seatbelt without undoing the ribbons. Thanks, Sasuke said. I'm not very at sewing, if you couldn't tell. Don't worry, I could tell. Sakura said with a giggle. They took the car into the sunroom along with a piece of wood and some phone books to create a ramp. They ran the car down the ramp into a wall and timed it, then found the average speed of the car. While Sasuke was getting ready to release the car so it can run down the ramp for the third time, they heard a voice from the doorway. Hey, that looks like fun. Can I crash it into the wall? Taichi, Mom said you have to go to your room, so no, you can't crash the car, said Sakura in a firm voice. Please, Sakura, Taichi asked. How about you crash the car into the wall when we're done? Sasuke suggested. Taichi turned towards Sasuke as if noticing him for the first time. Okay, can I at least watch until then? Taichi asked. No, exclaimed Sakura. Sakura, I don't see why he can't. He won't be bothering us if he just sits there quietly and doesn't talk. Sasuke said. Is this the same guy who's so cold and distant at school? Sakura wondered to herself in disbelief. I can't believe he's being nice to my little brother, of all people. Fine, I guess he can, but he'd better be quiet as a mouse. Sakura said. When they had finished the experiment, Taichi walked over and picked up the car. Now can I crash it into the wall? He asked excitedly. Sure, said Sasuke. Taichi put it on top of the ramp and let it go. When it hit the wall, the clay person's head flew off. That's so awesome, Taichi exclaimed when the head flew off. I'm glad that we finished the experiment before we let him crash the car. Sakura said under her breath. What was that, Sakura? Sasuke asked. Oh, nothing, she said quickly. Sasuke, can I ask you something? Sure, he said. Why are you so cold and distant at school, but then here you weren't? Sakura questioned. At school, there are all these girls all over me, all the time. It gets annoying. I thought that if I was cold and distant, they would stay away from me, but it seems to have had the opposite effect. Sasuke replied. Oh, well, I know kind of how you feel. I always have fanboys chasing me or something. It's not always fun. Sakura said. Yay, that's exactly how it is, said Sasuke. Just then they heard a car pull up in the driveway. Sakura looked out the window and saw Sasuke's driver. I guess it's time for you to leave, Sakura said. Yay, well, I'll see you at school tomorrow, I guess. And we can go to my house to finish the project up. Sasuke said. Okay, well, I don't have a free night until Friday, so would then be good? Sakura asked. Sure, Sasuke said as he walked out the door. This guy is so different from the guy at school, thought Sakura as she watched Sasuke leave. This guy is so different from the guy at school, thought Sakura as she watched Sasuke leave. A couple of minutes after she saw the limo pull out of the driveway, she went upstairs to her room. She locked the door, and went over to her dresser where she kept pictures of her friends. She picked up the picture frame containing her favorite picture. It was one of them from homecoming last year. Ino was striking a pose, Tenten had her eyes closed and was laughing, Hinata was holding up a peace sign, and Sakura was in the middle of them smiling brightly, totally happy to be having a blast with her friends. She turned the picture frame over, and opened the back, revealing a key. She pulled the key out, and walked over to her desk, unlocked it with the key, and then pulled out her diary. Dear Diary, today was the second day of school, and Sasuke came over so we could work on our project together. When this project was first assigned, I just thought that he was a huge jerk, but today when he came over he was different. He wasn't cold like at school, and he actually said more than 3 words in a sentence. He was even nice to Taichi. My opinion of him is really starting to change. I'm actually looking forward to seeing him at school tomorrow, and I'm wondering if he'll talk to me at all. We're working on the project again on Friday so we can finish it up. On other matters, Hinata seems to really like Naruto, and he seems to like her back. But since Naruto is totally clueless, he has no clue she likes him. Ino, Tenten, and I are going to have to work on getting those two together. Well, I'm starving, so I'm going to go get some dinner, but I'll write more soon, I promise. Sakura. When Sakura was done writing, she put her diary back, locked the desk, and then replaced the key. When she was done, she walked downstairs to see if dinner was ready yet. When she walked into the kitchen, she found Taichi sitting at the counter, getting ready to start eating. Her mother was standing on the other side fixing her own plate of food. Why didn't anyone tell me it was dinner time? Sakura asked. I figured you were up in your room working on homework, said Mrs. Haruno simply. Well, I'm starving, and I wish someone would have called me down. Sakura said as she piled some fried rice onto her plate, and then added some shrimp on top of it. She sat down at the counter next to Taichi, and started eating. So Sakura, how did your project go? Asked Mrs. Haruno. Great, we just have to pull all the information together and wrap it up so that way we can present it, said Sakura. That's good, said Mrs. Haruno. It was nice of you and your friend to let Taichi watch you work. Yay, and if had been up to me, he would have been up in his room, thought Sakura. Yay, we thought it would be a good experience for him to watch us do the project. But Sakura, you told me that I had to, Taichi started but was interrupted by Sakura. Be totally and completely quiet so you wouldn't disturb us, that's right. Sakura said. If her mom thought she had been nice to her brother, that meant she was in a good mood. And if she was in a good mood, Sakura could ask her about the homecoming dress that she wanted to buy. Mom, I was just wondering, since homecoming was coming up, if I could use the credit card to buy my dress. Sakura said, but it sounded more like a question. Well, why can't you just use yours? Mrs. Haruno asked. Well, I don't have a lot of money left on mine for this month, and we were all going shopping on Saturday, so I wanted to know if I could use yours. Sakura explained. Every month, her parents put a certain amount of money into her bank account, and she was allowed to do whatever she wanted with it, which was where the money for her credit card came from. This month she'd gotten extra money since it was the start of school, and had received about $1,000 so she could buy her school supplies, and her uniforms. She only had about 100 of that left, thanks to the girls' shopping spree before school. Sure, just don't go over, let's say $250. Mrs. Haruno said to her daughter. Of course, Sakura said happily. She had just finished eating and was now at the sink setting her dishes down. Well, I need to go up to my room. Ino said I needed to call her after dinner. Okay, said Mrs. Haruno. Sakura ran up to her room, excited that she'd gotten permission to use her parents' credit card. The girls were going to freak out. As soon as she was in her room, she picked up her phone and dialed Ino's number. Hello, said a voice on the line. Hey, Ino, it's Sakura. Guess what? Sakura said excitedly. What? Ino asked. My mom said I could use their credit card to buy my homecoming dress. I can only spend $250, though. Sakura said. Why can't you just use yours? Ino asked, somewhat confused. I've spent almost all of my money for this month, so I don't have enough left for the dress and accessories. Sakura explained to her friend. Oh, I get it, so now you can get both, possibly without spending your own money. Smart, said Ino. So we're going dress shopping Saturday, right? Asked Sakura. Yay, Ino said, even though homecoming isn't for another month or so, it's a good idea to get the dresses early. Awesome, Sakura exclaimed. I can't wait. I know exactly what kind of dress I want. Really? Asked Ino. What kind? You'll have to wait until Saturday to see it. Sakura said happily. Oh, I should go, I have some homework that I haven't finished. Okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow then. Bye, said Ino. Bye, said Sakura as she hung up the phone. She set the phone back on her desk, and pulled out her homework. She started working on some math problems, but started thinking of other things. She eventually got tired, and fell asleep on her desk. She started working on some math problems, but started thinking of other things. She eventually got tired, and fell asleep on her desk. The next thing she knew, her alarm clock was going off in her ear. Wah, what? I'm awake, she yelled as her head bolted up from her desk. She looked around her, realizing she was in her room. Ugh, she groaned when she realized she had fallen asleep on her desk, with her unfinished math homework in front of her. Great, guess I'll have to do this in the car. She mumbled to herself as she closed her binder and shoved it into her book bag. She shoved the textbook in after that, and then zipped it up. She then walked into her closet to get dressed. I look awful, she said as she looked in the mirror after she did her makeup. Her hair was messy, and her skin was blotchy because she hadn't had time to take a shower this morning, and had fallen asleep before taking one last night. She walked downstairs to find her mother in the kitchen. Good morning, sweetie, said Mrs. Haruno. Good morning, Mom, Sakura said as she put some French toast that her mother had made onto a plate and sat down. She ate swiftly and silently. Just a few minutes after she'd placed her dishes in the dishwasher, she heard a horn honk. It was Tenten's driver this morning. She slipped on some shoes, grabbed her backpack, and ran out the front door. Hey guys, she said as she got into the limo. She pulled out her math homework and started working on a problem. Okay, what happened yesterday with Sasuke? Tenten asked. What happened? Sakura repeated, looking up from her math homework. What happened was we got almost our entire project done. That's not what I meant, Tenten started. I know what you're thinking, and no, nothing happened. The only thing that did happen was that he was surprisingly really nice, and more talkative than he is at school. My opinion of him might actually change depending on how nice he is on Friday. He was even nice to Taichi. Did he say more than one-word sentences? Hinata asked. Yay, actually, he did. Sakura said. Now can I get this math done? Please. Sure, said Tenten. Sakura went back to doing her math as Ino climbed into the limo. What's up guys? Ino asked. Nothing really, Tenten said, just that Sakura's doing her math homework. Forehead. I've never known you to not get your homework done before. What happened? Ino asked. I just fell asleep on my desk while I was doing it, pig. Sakura replied as she wrote down an answer. I was more tired than I thought, considering it was only 7 the last time I looked at the clock before I fell asleep. Really? Ino asked. Really? Sakura replied as she put her homework back into her binder, having just finished it. Just then, they pulled up at school. I don't need to run to my locker this morning, so I'm going straight to homeroom. I don't need to either, so I'll go with you. Hinata said. Sakura and Hinata went towards the classroom, while Tenten and Ino went to their lockers. By the time Ino and Tenten got to homeroom, Kakashi was surprisingly there. Everyone in the class sat with their mouths hanging open, and they couldn't believe it. I believe you ladies are late. Kakashi said. But, you're here, and on time. Ino questioned wide-eyed. Well, yes, I do believe that I'm here. Kakashi said. Now, if you ladies will be so kind as to take your seats, we can take attendance. Tenten and Ino walked to their seats. Tenten immediately whispered to Sakura, how long has he been here? Sakura replied quietly, only a few minutes, so you guys really aren't late. You walked in about 2 minutes after him. Tenten nodded her head in disbelief, and listened as Kakashi read him a letter from the Dean of Student Life. It was something about problems with kids in the lunch room. Soon, the bell rang and the girls went to their classes. During lunch, I'm starving, Tenten exclaimed. Me, too, said Sakura. PE really wore me out, and made me so hungry. Who knew that floor hockey would be so tiring? Ino asked. Not me, said Hinata as she sat down on the bench she'd sat on for the past 2 days. This table was already theirs, pretty much. No one else sat there, and no one had tried yet. I'm going to get in the lunch line, Tenten said happily. I'm coming too, Sakura said, I could smell those fries from the gym. When they got back, the guys were sitting at the table with Ino and Hinata. I'm going to get fatter from eating all of these fries, Sakura said. I'll help you then, Naruto exclaimed as he reached his hand into the bag and pulled out about half of the fries inside. Thanks, Naruto, Sakura said with a sweat drop. No problem, Naruto said through a mouthful of fries. Okay, so what stores are we looking in on Saturday? Ino asked. That's a really long time away, said Naruto. Yay, but we have to get an itinerary planned if we want to find the best dresses. Ino exclaimed. What's an itinerary? Naruto asked. Dobe, Sasuke said, it's another word for schedule. Then why wouldn't you just say schedule in the first place? Naruto asked. Because, Ino said, itinerary sounds better. Whatever you say, said Naruto. I just find it confusing. Just then the lunch bell rang, signaling for them to get to their classes. After school, the girls were climbing into Sakura's limo when the guys walked out. Hey, guys, Naruto yelled. Can we get a ride home with you? We all thought someone else was driving. Sure, Sakura said. Get in. The guys climbed in, and Naruto sat down next to Hinata. Hi Hinata, Naruto said. Hi Naruto. Hinata said back. Are we working on our project today? Yup. So you can just get out at my house, Naruto said. Neji shot Naruto a glare, obviously not trusting his cousin with Naruto. Hinata saw this, and looked a little bit upset, as she said, okay, Naruto. Neji, when are we going to work on our project? Tenten asked. Sakura and Sasuke are almost done with this, and we haven't even started. Could you come over to my house today? No, Neji said. Okay, well then, what about Saturday? Tenten asked. Sure, Neji replied. Shikamaru, is tomorrow a good day to work on our project? Asked Ino. Troublesome, he said, why not today? Because Sakura and I have dance today. She said. Fine, we'll work on it tomorrow. Shikamaru said. Just then they were at Naruto's house, and Naruto and Hinata were getting out. Hinata, your father wants you home by 5 o'clock, Neji said while looking at Naruto. Okay, I'll just have Naruto take me home since it's my driver's day off. Hinata said. No, Neji said. I'll come pick you up. Okay, Hinata said looking upset again. Neji didn't trust Naruto with her, even though he was one of his best friends, and that meant that her father wouldn't trust Naruto with her. Sakura, Ino, and Tenten all looked at each other. Hinata, I'm coming to pick you up, Sakura said. We're all going to my house to talk about Saturday, remember? Yay, said Ino. You can't miss that. Okay, said Hinata, realizing what her friends were doing for her. I'll see you at 4:30, then. The girls looked at each other again as Hinata got out of the car. Sakura was going to pick Hinata up, but she was going to be an hour late, and Hinata wouldn't be home until 6 o'clock. The girls looked at each other again as Hinata got out of the car. Sakura was going to pick Hinata up, but she was going to be an hour late, and Hinata wouldn't be home until 6:30. As soon as the limo pulled away, Hinata turned towards Naruto. Is there a lake near your house? She asked. Yay, Naruto replied. There's one right back behind the house. Okay, let's start there. I have baby food jars to put samples in. Can you take a sample tomorrow morning and then again in the evening? Hinata asked. Sure, if you call to remind me. Naruto said as he rubbed the back of his head. I'll forget if you don't. Okay, I'll call to remind you tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the morning, and again at 8 o'clock at night. Hinata said. Right now, let's put our stuff somewhere and then go back to the lake to take a few samples. Okay, we can put our stuff down in the family room. Just follow me, Naruto said. He pulled out a key and unlocked the front door. Hinata found this a bit strange, because at her house one of the maids or butlers was always home, so the door was hardly ever locked. When they walked into the house, Hinata followed Naruto into the family room. She hadn't seen anyone yet, not even a maid or a butler, let alone Naruto's parents. Naruto, Hinata started, where are your parents? Oh, Naruto said with a sad look on his face, I don't have any parents. They when I was little, and Iruka raised me. He's not here right now because he works for the government and is gone a lot. And if you're wondering why there aren't any maids or butlers, I just don't think I need to waste the money on them when I'm pretty much the only one here most of the time. Oh, Naruto, Hinata said, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. How would you? Naruto asked. It's not like I told you, and the guys don't really talk about it. Oh, Hinata said, I guess you're right. But still, that must have been hard. Yay, but I never really knew them. Iruka's the closest person to family for me. Naruto said. Oh, was all Hinata could say. Yay, Naruto said. Well, we'd better get to work. Since Neji's coming in about 2 hours we don't have that much time. Oh, about that, Naruto, Hinata said. Sakura's coming to pick me up, and she's not coming until about 6 o'clock. Why isn't Neji coming anymore? Naruto asked, looking confused. Because, Sakura's coming to pick me up so I can go over to her house. Ino wants to make those itineraries for Saturday. She's crazy about that kind of stuff. Oh, well, okay then. Naruto said. That just means that we'll have more time to work on our project. And more time to be together. Hinata thought. With Ino, Sakura and Tenten. Great save earlier. Ino said. Well, I didn't think that it was fair that Neji was doing that to Hinata. Sakura said. Yay, Tenten said, he's really overprotective of her. But I guess that just means he doesn't want there to get hurt. I think they used to be really close, when they were younger. Yay, said Sakura, but he still needs to give her some space. I mean, Hinata can make decisions for herself. True, said Ino, but does her father know that? I don't think he does. Tenten said. Well, enough of this, let's get started on those itineraries. Said Ino. Ino, I thought you were kidding. Exclaimed Sakura. No, I was being serious. We have to get in maximum shopping time. Ino said. Tenten and Sakura groaned as Ino started typing furiously into her laptop. With Naruto and Hinata. Naruto, watch out. You're going to. Hinata started but was interrupted by a splash, fall in. Hee, guess I shouldn't have leaned over so far, said Naruto sheepishly as he rubbed the back of his head. Yay, but what's done is done, said Hinata, so you should get out of the lake before you get sick. Hinata reached her hand out to help Naruto get out of the water, but when Naruto grabbed her hand, instead of pulling himself out of the water, he pulled Hinata in. Ah! Hinata screamed as she hit the water. Her head went under and when her head came up, she just smiled at Naruto. She stood up in the water that came to her waist and walked towards him. When she got near enough, she dunked him under. That's for pulling me in. Hey, you're gonna pay for that, Naruto said as he splashed Hinata. That started a splash war. They laughed, splashed and dunked each other for the next half hour, until Hinata said something. I'm getting cold, Naruto, can we go inside? Of course, Naruto exclaimed as he climbed out of the lake. He reached his hand down and this time pulled Hinata out of the water. They walked up to the house and Naruto led the way into the family room. I'm going to go change out my wet clothes, okay? Okay, said Hinata as she realized that she didn't have any clothes to change into. What am I going to do? I'll get sick if I stay in these wet clothes. Okay, I'm back, Naruto said. Do you want to go change? I would like to, but I don't have any dry clothes to change into. Hinata said. Oh, don't worry, you can borrow some of my clothes to wear. Naruto said. Just follow me to my room and we'll find something that will fit you. Okay, Naruto, Hinata said as she followed him up the stairs and down a long hallway. He opened a door, and it revealed a room even bigger than Hinata's own. Okay, let's see if I can find something that will fit you. Naruto said as he opened his closet and began to rummage around. Here we go. This is the smallest thing that I have. He held out a pair of orange sweatpants and a black t-shirt. I'll leave and you can change into that. At that, Naruto left his room and went back downstairs. Hinata changed into the sweatpants and t-shirt, and then left Naruto's room carrying her wet clothes. Oh, they're still too big, Naruto said. Don't worry, they fit fine, and they're warmer than my wet clothes, that's for sure. Hinata said with a giggle. Yay, I guess you're right, Naruto said as he watched Hinata stuff her wet clothes inside her backpack. Well, we got our sample, but there's not much else for us to do with our project yet. Hinata said. We could watch TV until Sakura comes, Naruto suggested. Okay, what's on? Hinata asked as she sat down on the couch next to Naruto. He turned on the TV and flipped through the channels until he found a movie that they could watch. While they were watching it, Hinata fell asleep, leaning on Naruto's shoulder. Naruto just looked down at her and smiled. He really liked her and hoped that she would like him back, and wondered if a girl like her could ever like a guy like him. He looked at the clock, and saw that it was only 4:30. He closed his eyes and fell asleep. He really liked her and hoped that she would like him back, and wondered if a girl like her could ever love a guy like him. He looked at the clock, and saw that it was only 4:30. He closed his eyes and fell asleep. He woke up in what felt like only a couple of minutes to someone banging on the door. I'm coming, Naruto said as he carefully moved Hinata's head off of his shoulder and put a pillow where he had been, laying her head back down. When he got to the door, he opened it to find Sakura standing there. Finally, Sakura exclaimed. I've rang the doorbell twice and have been standing here for about 10 minutes now. If you didn't answer when I knocked on the door, I didn't know what I was going to do. Sorry, we fell asleep on the couch while watching a movie on TV. Naruto said. He stepped aside and let Sakura walk into the house. Where's Hinata? Sakura asked, looking around for her friend. She's on the couch in the family room, she's still asleep. Naruto said as he led Sakura into the family room. Okay, then, I'll wake her up. Sakura said as she walked over towards the couch. She shook Hinata while saying, wake up. Hinata, we have to go or your father's going to be one angry person. What time is it? Asked Naruto. It's 6 o'clock, Sakura replied as Hinata looked up at her. I'm coming, just let me get my stuff. Hinata said as she got up off of the couch and walked over to the table where her book bag was. I'll call you tomorrow to remind you to get the sample, okay Naruto? Hinata said. Alright, talk to you then. Naruto said as he walked to his front door with Hinata and Sakura. I'll see you guys tomorrow. He yelled as they got into the limo. Bye Naruto. Sakura and Hinata yelled at the same time. As soon as Hinata climbed into the limo, she found a curious Tenten and Ino looking at her. What are you wearing? Ino asked as soon as the door was shut. That's exactly what my question was when I saw you. Sakura said. Well, it's a pair of Naruto's sweatpants and one of his t-shirts. Hinata said while blushing. He fell into the lake, and when I reached down to help him out, he pulled me in. We ended up splashing around and dunking each other for about half of an hour. Then when we got out and were in his house, I realized that I didn't have anything to change into, so he offered to lend me some clothes. Oh, how sweet, Tenten exclaimed. Okay, so now we know that, but how did you guys fall asleep? Asked Sakura, even though she already knew. Oh, well, we were done with what we had to work on early, so we sat down to watch a movie on TV. I was really tired from splashing around in the lake, so I ended up falling asleep. When you knocked on the door though, I woke up too, but my head was on Naruto's shoulder. I was so embarrassed, so I pretended to still be asleep. Hinata said, this time turning red. Or, Sakura, Ino, and Tenten said at the same time. That's so cute, Sakura exclaimed. I wonder what Naruto thought when he woke up to find you asleep, leaning on his shoulder. Oh my gosh, Hinata said as she turned bright red, yet again. He probably thinks I'm some crazy person or something. I don't think so, Tenten said. He seems to really like you. What? Hinata asked, looking suspiciously at her friends. How would you guys know that? We kind of found out in the limo the first day of school. Sakura said. You what? Does he know I like him? I think I'm going to S. Hinata exclaimed. He has no clue that you like him. Sakura said. Sorry to say this Hinata, but Naruto isn't very smart. He gave away liking you pretty quickly, and I don't think he wants the guys to know either, especially not Neji. Ino said, remembering the way Naruto had looked when he had said he was excited to have club with Hinata. I can see why he's worried about Neji. If anyone ever hurt me in any way, Neji would beat him up in a heartbeat. It doesn't matter if they're his friends or not. Hinata said. Seriously, Naruto better watch himself then. Ino said. I really like Naruto, and I don't want Neji to hurt him. Hinata said, sounding depressed. Don't worry, he won't hurt Naruto, as long as Naruto doesn't hurt you. Tenten said. Yay, I guess you're right. Hinata said, cheering up. Hey, Hinata, we're at your house. Sakura said, looking surprised. That had been a quick car ride. You'd better go, since you're already an hour late. Even though we told your father you were at my house, you don't want to be any later. I just hope Naruto doesn't say anything to Neji. Don't worry, I'll ask him not to. Hinata said. And for only knowing him for about 2 days, I'm pretty sure he'll listen. Ino said as the girls burst out into laughter. What's that supposed to mean? Hinata asked. Just that Naruto will do whatever you want as long as you're happy. Tenten said. Yay, Sakura said. Hinata giggled as she said, I don't think that's true. Of course it is, Ino said. He signed up for book discussion club just to be in a club with you. You know Sasuke told us that he's never read a book before in his life. I wonder how he does his book reports. Ino, Sakura and Tenten started giggling. What? I thought he was just in that club to enjoy reading. Hinata said in shock. Well, you were wrong. Sakura said. He's only in there to be with you. Hinata, a voice said. Is that you? Yes, Hanabi, it's me. Hinata yelled. I'd better go, my dad probably knows that I'm here if Hanabi does. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hinata got out of the limo and shut the door, running up her front steps. After that, Sakura's limo dropped off Ino, then Tenten, and finally pulled up at her own house, where she got out and walked up to her room. After that, Sakura's limo dropped off Ino, then Tenten, and finally pulled up at her own house, where she got out and walked up to her room. She pulled out her diary, and started writing. Dear Diary, Naruto and Hinata really seem to like each other, and I know Ino has something in mind by the way she was looking at Hinata in the limo. I wonder what she's planning. I know we have to get him together, and Hinata doesn't want us to do anything. I think she thinks we're going to do something and mess everything up, but why would we? Well, I know we can't mess things up. A movie with one of Hinata's favorite actors starts at the theater tomorrow, and maybe we can get Naruto to ask Hinata to go with him on Friday. We'll have to work more on that. Well, I should go, I really need to get my homework done. I'll write more later. Sakura. Sakura put her diary back, and then walked over to her desk to do her English homework. She was in the middle of dissecting a sentence when her cell phone went off. She picked it up and looked at the front screen, seeing an unfamiliar number. She opened up her phone and opened the text message. It said, I know who you are, but you don't know who I am. Who could this be? Sakura wondered as she replied to the message. She said, who is this? Seriously. The person wrote back. Why should I tell you that? Sakura replied, because I'd like to know who's texting me, please. The person said, I don't think that I will. This person is really starting to get on my nerves. Inner Sakura exclaimed. Tell me about it, thought Sakura. But I know how to get him to stop. Sakura replied, fine then, I won't talk to you if you won't tell me who you are. The person replied, you really want to know who I am? Sakura replied, yes, now tell me. The person replied, fine, it's Sasuke. Happy. Sakura replied, yay, but how did you get my number? Sasuke replied, Ino gave it to me. Anyways, just wanted you to have it in case we needed to get in touch for the project. I have to go now, but I'll talk to you later. Sakura replied, oh, okay then. Well, TTYL. Sakura added Sasuke's number into her phone book and made a mental note to Ino. Of course, Ino would do something to give her a heart attack, just so she could get a laugh out of it. Ino was probably laughing at her right this second, just thinking of her reaction when she got a text from a number she didn't know. I'll think of something to get back at her. Sakura thought. She right we will, exclaimed Inner Sakura. Sakura went back to dissecting her sentences for English, as she plotted something to do to Ino, but nothing she could think of seemed good enough. Next day, Ino climbed into Sakura's limo, and as soon as the door was shut Sakura fired questions at her. Why did you give Sasuke my cell phone number? Because he asked for it. Ino said uncertainly. Right, and you weren't laughing hysterically as you thought of my reaction when I got sent a text by an unfamiliar number? Sakura asked. Truthfully, I didn't think about it, but you're right, that would have been funny. You freak out when that happens. Ino said as she started to laugh picturing her friend's reaction. Ino did something just to help someone else out. I doubt it, Sakura thought. So, Ino, I'm guessing that Sasuke gave you Shikamaru's number in exchange for mine. Well, yay, Ino said as she started to blush. She had been caught. I knew it, Sakura said. I couldn't picture you helping someone out for nothing, well at least someone who wasn't one of your close friends. Well, what's wrong with that? Ino asked defensively. Nothing. Just some people find that kind of mean. Sakura replied smugly. So, that just means I'm respected. Ino said. Yay, think that if you want to. Sakura said. Just then Tenten climbed into the limo. Hey Tenten. Hey, guys, Tenten exclaimed happily. She was in a really great mood this morning. Okay, Sakura said, Hinata isn't in the car yet, so let's discuss her and Naruto. I think we should get Naruto to take her to that movie she wants to see on Friday. It's called Disturbia, I think. Perfect, exclaimed Ino. Here's how we'll do it. Tenten, those 2 tickets that you have for it, don't deny it, I know you have them. We need them for Naruto and Hinata. Naruto isn't too smart, so this should work perfectly. Tenten, you're going to be talking to Naruto, and then mention that you have 2 tickets to a movie that Hinata's has been asked to see, but you can't make it. Offer him the tickets, but tell him not to tell Hinata where the tickets came from, tell him it's supposed to be a surprise or something. Sakura, you'll make sure Naruto asks Hinata, try talking to the both of them on your way to algebra, and then make up the excuse that you have to go to your locker, and for them to go ahead to class since you'll be late. Sound good? Perfect, Sakura exclaimed, just as Hinata stepped into the car. What's perfect? Hinata asked looking curious. Sakura started, not knowing what to say. Sakura was just saying how perfect my itinerary for Saturday was. Ino jumped in. Yay. That's exactly what I was saying. Sakura said quickly. Ino had made a quick save. Here's your copy, Ino said, shoving Hinata's copy of her itinerary at her. Hinata took it and looked over. I still don't see why we need those things, but okay. Tenten said as Ino handed her copy of the itinerary. She looked it over and sighed. I still don't see why we need those things, but okay. Tenten said as Ino handed her copy of the itinerary. She looked it over and sighed. At school, Hinata climbed out of the limo before everyone else, and Ino whispered to Tenten, plan. Now, we'll get Hinata to go to homeroom with us, you find Naruto, and act casual. Okay, Tenten whispered back. This shouldn't be too hard, like Ino said, Naruto isn't too bright. Tenten walked down the halls figuring that Naruto would be at his locker. She made her way there first. Her locker wasn't too far from there, so that could be her excuse. When she got to Naruto's locker, he was there, but his head was shoved all the way inside the locker. Naruto, Tenten said uncertainly. Naruto hit his head on the inside of his locker, as he said, yay. That resulted in a string of curses under his breath. He looked over at Tenten. Oh. Hey Tenten, what's up? I was just on my way to homeroom when I saw you at your locker and decided to wait for you. Tenten said crossing her fingers. After all, she had come from the opposite direction of her locker, but hoped that Naruto had been too busy to notice. Oh. Okay, he exclaimed. Tenten uncrossed her fingers and silently sighed. Naruto was as oblivious as Ino had said. I'm almost done, just wait 1 second. He pulled something out and shoved it in his book bag, then his locker shut. Let's go. Okay. So, Naruto, Tenten started. What are you doing this Friday? I don't know yet, why? Naruto asked, looking at Tenten curiously. Well, I have 2 tickets to this movie that I can't use. Hinata's really been wanting to see it, though, so I thought maybe you could ask her to go with you. Tenten said. Really? That would be great, Naruto exclaimed happily. Okay, well, here are the tickets, just don't lose them. Tenten said as she handed an envelope to Naruto. Just don't tell her I gave you the tickets, okay? Just act like you bought them yourself, got it? Naruto said. Tenten looked a little startled, afraid that he had caught on to their plan. Okay, Naruto exclaimed, as Tenten again silently sighed. They walked into homeroom then, and Tenten sat down. She pulled out a piece of paper and scribbled something on it, then tossed it to Ino. It read. Mission accomplished. Ino looked towards Tenten and gave her a thumbs up, and Tenten smiled back at her to let her know that she had seen it. Her part in the plan was over for now. It was Sakura's turn next. On the way to algebra. So, what are you guys doing on Friday? Sakura asked Hinata and Naruto. Oh. Nothing as of now. Hinata said. Well, Naruto started, but was see off by Sakura. Oh. No. I forgot my algebra book. I'm going to run to my locker really quickly, you 2 go ahead, I don't want you to be late, too. Sakura exclaimed as she ran down the side hall to her locker. Well, like I was getting ready to say. Naruto said as he took a deep breath, I got 2 tickets to this movie on Friday, and Hinata, I was wondering, if maybe you'd want to go with me. Oh, Hinata exclaimed. Naruto looked a little disappointed by Hinata's response, while Hinata looked like she was going to faint. It's okay, Hinata, you don't have to, I was just wondering, Naruto said. Oh, no, Naruto. I'd love to go with you to the movies, I was just really happy that you asked. Hinata quickly explained, then blushed as she realized what she just said. Yes, Naruto exclaimed loudly enough so that the whole hall was looking at him. Hinata's going with me to the movies on Friday. Everyone went back to what they had been doing, and Sakura, who had almost caught up to them again, grinned happily for her friend. At lunch, Hinata went to the lunch line to get food, and the girls took this time to discuss how their plan had worked out. The boys weren't anywhere around, either, so they could talk freely about it. Well, it worked, Ino. Sakura exclaimed happily. You should have seen him on the way to algebra. Naruto yelled out how happy he was so that everyone could hear it, and Hinata was just blushing like crazy because she admitted to being excited about Naruto asking her out. We're good, Ino exclaimed. Right, said Tenten, but we have to act surprised when Hinata tells us. She thinks we don't know yet, right? Right, said Ino and Sakura at the same time. Just then, Hinata came out of the lunch line and was at the table. She sat down, and then looked at the girls excitedly. You'll never guess what happened. Naruto asked me to the movies. All of the girls squealed excitedly for their friend. You guys have to help me get ready. I have no clue what to wear. Don't worry, I'm already brainstorming. Sakura exclaimed. Same here, Ino said. Clothes aren't my department, but I'll help all that I can. Tenten exclaimed happily. Thanks you guys. I'm so happy. Hinata exclaimed as another round of squeals could be heard from all of the girls. From the rest of lunch the girls chatted excitedly about Hinata's date on Friday. After school, the guys were riding home with the girls again. They rode home together every day, but Sasuke was still cold around everyone. Even Neji had warmed up a little bit. Sakura was upset, because when Sasuke was just around her, he wasn't cold and distant, but when he was around everyone, he was. It drove her crazy. Today, though, Sakura had bigger things to worry about, like Naruto and Hinata. So, Naruto, what time are you picking Hinata up on Friday? Sakura asked. We have to know so that we can help her get ready. What is he picking Hinata up for? Neji asked while glaring at Naruto. What was he doing with his cousin that Neji didn't know about? Well, Neji, Hinata said with a blush, Naruto asked me to go to the movies on Friday. Oh really? Neji asked. Yay, said Naruto as he gulped. I was planning on getting her at 5:30, so that way we could go to dinner before the 8 o'clock movie. Okay, Ino said. Hinata, we'll just go home with you, so that way we can help you get ready, okay? Wait a minute, Sasuke said. Sakura, weren't we supposed to work on our project? Can we change the day to Sunday, please? Sakura asked. Fine, Sasuke said. Thank you Sasuke, Sakura said. The girls talked the rest of the way home, while Neji glared at Naruto, and Naruto looked back at Neji uncomfortably. Sasuke and Shikamaru text each other, placing bets on what Neji was going to do to Naruto. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.